This is the house they based the novel on. It didn't use for the series. Hey, what's the date anyway? Is today August 6th? My date's broken on this.
Yes, it is.
Can't really see.
Probably lost. Yeah. Oops. Let's hope he's still out. Nope. I think he was out when I took it. Off.
This is at Woodley. It's a maze of all trees and found the center. It's pretty neat, but I don't want to film too much. It would be boring. And get some of the castles. I think it's really pretty. Neat little miniature castles. York Minster Abbey. Real bells. Neat. See, we don't have to go to England. We can just see the miniatures and pretend. Giles Church. Hope I didn't get that St. Giles Church. Let's see what's over here. What is this now? B. That we can go in. That will be fun.
Highland Cottage.
Highland Cottage, huh? Is that like famous?
I'm looking at the wrong one. 12.
Oh.
Dunvegan Castle.
Temple of Flora. This is the flower gardens. Linda's in her glory. And we're learning a lot. Wellington, I guess.
Wellington beat
Zoom in. It's the miniature old man in the mountain counterpart, the old witch in the mountain.
That's funny.
And we didn't even get charged $2 to see it. What is that thing on top of Elephant Rock here? See, it looks like a little building or a lighthouse. This is Elephant Rock that we had to drive by some drunk guy to get to. And they didn't even charge us $2 before we to this house. That's cool though. Probably saw it. Yeah, this is the sunset here, but I don't think we'll hang around long enough. This is just rock beach, I guess. No red flag here. It is pretty. Is it warm, Linda, or cold? Is it warm? Is it warm or cold?
Not as cold as me.
Oh, okay, not as cold as me. See his eyes? Aren't they awesome? I can't get him. Find an elephant rock. Look at him. Where is he? Simba, but he didn't look as cute as this.
That was who?
Simba, the neighbor's dog. Isn't he cute?
Yeah, all I can come up with is a buck.
Where'd he go? He's blending in with, oh, there he is. Hey, ask him. The dog's name is Ask Him. Look who we met at the beach, guys.
What's the dog's name? Actually, you know, Billy. Sun's going down. We're still at Elephant Rock. And Auntie's angry because the film in her camera wasn't wound right. Now she doesn't have any pictures. There's Mommy. Mommy's getting his shells. No, I saw it. There she is. Susan's down there. Huh? Carol! Carol! There's the elephant. Sunset again. It's beautiful. Look over the edge. you, Sue.
Harry walked away and left my shoe.
Uh-oh. Sue's shoes were all wet. Oh, boy. We drove 2 hours to see this elephant. Wait a minute, she's calling me. Zoom in. Why? Go swimming! This water's kind of warm. Bye-bye, elephant.
Oh, you know what? You can. Oh, that's good.
She's not even, I can't even see her.
She's right there.
It's not coming out.
Okay,
Well, I don't know if you can see her. There she is. Your mother's getting adventurous, boys. She climbed out on the elephant rock. See where she is.
Careful!
Oh, there she is.
The water feels warm after being They made me quit picking rocks out and then they go off walking looking for a bird bath, of all things. See how the sun's setting? Oh, we're getting there.
Here we are, sunset update. It's getting down there. You have to be looking out to the west to see a sunset. And we mostly only have an east coast.
Sunset update at 29 on August, what is it, August 4th? No, 6th. No, I didn't, but I want to get Sue. Oh, she's gone. Where's the seagull?
Oh, I think that red sky means we're going to nice view. It's beautiful.
I like this over here. That's a nice picture.
Yeah,
That's a light. Well, it was worth the drive out.
Yeah.
Something to do at night.
And then swoop
See, the
around.
moon's still out. He's got to go back to bed. The sun's still in the sky. Looks great, though. Whoa! This elephant rock from the back, you can't tell. It's kind of scary driving up here because it's like all edge as you drive on it. Yeah, we will. Well, the sun's going away slowly but surely.
I know, but there's a
Sunset update 5 minutes later. Talk about private beach. You can only swim to it. All angles. I won't go out any further, I'm too scared. Yep, see, I can't get the...
About what?
Irish moss.
Well, after these people got here, it's certainly hard to do it.
It's very pretty.
See all the
See
drip?
the red sand? It's coming from the hill down. Today's this August 7th, I guess. Or is it August 8th? It's August 7th and it's in the 80s and it's beautiful. This is Cavendish where we stayed. Pulled over the side of the Ocean Drive, yeah, whatever it's called. I did.
Oh.
Did you tell them? Yeah. And how beautiful it is. Well, the hill.
Be difficult to take because I'm not sure how much light there is here.
Well, why don't you take mine?
Oh, yeah. No, you know what?
See the cow, Sue? Hey, cow. We're interrupting your dinner time. Sunset. It's 8:30.
Set it for a full second.
Yeah.
That ought to be
Wait a minute. It's Longfellow or vote evangelist.
Being usurped by mine, but anyway, so they ran over and took care of the doggy again.
This is on the site of the church that they gathered the Acadians and shipped them off.
Right, and work around your chronological order.
think I went backwards on this history here.
Charles Poirier.
A
Not a
relative.
direct ancestor,
But
no,
a relative.
related. Because our ancestors were living in.
We're at Peggy Coves, Nova Scotia.
This is my second. I was driving Grand Marquis, and then I shrunk it down. This is my second.
Jetzt, it must be beautiful when it crashes up on these rocks. This is going to get very boring film, I have a feeling. I better stop. This is probably going to get boring, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Call her.
Linda!
Can't see him through the viewfinder. Oh,
Did he go?
yeah.
He's right above the trees. I think I got him, but he's way off in the distance. Come back, Eva. Here he comes. Where'd he go?
I see him, but he just
I'm gonna just stop filming because I know I don't see him through the
coming
viewfinder.
this way. I took it again. Even though he's way in the sun.
I don't see him.
He's right above us almost, Carrie.
I gotta move this viewfinder maybe.
Here he is. He's
I don't know because I get so much damn dust on this thing. Oh, there he is, way above me.
so much sunlight here. He's flying into the sun. Let's wait until he turns.
Where?
There he goes. Look at that. Right above us.
I can't see him.
Just wiggled his ass at us.
I got him. Oh, he's right. I mean, I got my head cooked all the way up here. He's the speck of dust flying.
Oh, he's coming towards
He's
us.
closer. He's closer than that, though.
I can see him, but my head's gonna crack off. There he is.
He's probably staring at us, too.
Look at Misty. You give me a hard time here. I don't know which way to turn.
Oh, Carrie, you probably only have about one picture left. Look.
Where'd he go?
Up
There he is. I get so much dust on this viewfinder.
There's mother cutting there.
there. This is a picture of the house that was, how
What
old?
year was the house built? How many years old
We
is
figured
it?
265 years.
Wow.
1995. 17 something.
17
Wow.
something.
By Hubert Sr.
But I'll tell you the story of how it was built, and that's quite
Get this.
a story too. This was
Oh, battery
a building
flashing.
I
just
have
far
the,
from
I
where
have
the
the
state last
connections. I
night,
can hook it
building
up to the
called
plug.
Senior Citizens.
Yeah.
And I was
His
president
dad
at
getting
the time
his
of the opening.
silver plaque when he was in the
That's
Navy.
program
Where's
there.
your mom here?
Here's my sister.
Yeah.
My sister's 50th anniversary picture.
I'm just gonna-
Hey,
Was taken in 1994. We were 50 years married.
Wow.
I was master of ceremony at the anniversary.
and who have
But I'm
this?
sure that if
This
they
is his sister Ruth. Is it Ruth's 50th anniversary?
were Ruth, yeah. No, Zena's.
Zena's. Oh,
This one here.
that's Zena.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I wish to God that I knew where. Did they? Yeah. Before, that's what before I went to the service.
It's not really.
But you might have to move further
My
away.
grandmother, and
Yeah.
there's one of her grandson's daughter. Great-granddaughter. Popery and transubstantiation.
Right.
And most of them refused, eh? So they were going to be deported. So some of them took off to the woods and lived with the Indians, eh? So actually, the Poiriers generation, way back, 6 generations back, some of them were half-breeds.
Ah.
So then, when they gave Louisbourg back to the French, they sent as many as they could to try and hold the island, which at that time was called Ile Royale. And this particular place was called the I have the grant showing that the parish of Mars in the county of Frederica in the province of Cape Breton, the province. So they came along and they built they had to build flimsy shacks along the shore because it was late in the fall, and there was some old people and some young people, and they couldn't survive the winter, so they died and they were buried there. And the grant shows the cemetery. So, several years ago, after I come back from overseas, that would have been in the 40s. I came back in 45. I'd been 46. We were digging ditches along the old road, and we were just joking. We said we laughed at we come across this country. No sooner said the word, but bang, drove a pick right through. And we come out with the skull and a bone of the arm. So it was on a Saturday afternoon. And Sunday, there was a woman from the States, and she used to read skulls, eh? And she heard about it. She came down, and she looked at it, and she said it's the skull of a half-breed, and it's over 200 years old. So when you look at it, there was some half-breeds in among the Poiriers. So it sounds to reason, you know. So that it's also a cemetery as well as a.
No, I'm agreed, but not the 6 generations back. It was way back because he was descended from Jean
Yes.
Poirier, who was one of the original.
That's according to what I
families.
told him, but I mean, you know.
Let him do the story, Sue, because it's working. right now.
According to Valmont Poirier, who lives in the house with his wife, and is the 6th generation of the first family of Poiriers, being interested in the heritage of the Poiriers and his homestead, has researched deeds, genealogical traits, and articles. But see, what our handicap is, the first books of the church, because in them days there was no church in the schools, it was Irish help. And the first, when the church burned, the books burnt with it, so we can't go back too far, you know. After the siege of Louisbourg in 1745, many French people fled to the woods and lived with the Indians rather than submit to the British law, which forced them to take an oath against popery and the belief in transubstantiation. When they first came to Cape Breton, which was then a part of l'Acadie, after the second fall of Louisbourg, the law was changed to obedience to the crown and a promise never to take up arms against the English. They were permitted to return and were granted land. That's how this land here was granted. But it was, oh my God, if it showed you in the daytime, it's over a mile from where it starts to where it stops. And as the children were growing up and got married, they were allocated lands, you know. There's nothing to see 14, 15, 40 down in the road here. Now it's changed around so much that now they arrived late in the season and only had time to build flimsy shacks along the shore. It being a severe winter, a lot of them were unable to survive, and they were buried on land not far from where the shacks were, which is, according to the grant, is right here in the field. After the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle in 1748, Louisbourg was returned to France. Families were sent from France to populate Isle Royale, now Cape Breton Island. The family of Hubert Poiriers was one of them. He swore allegiance to the British and was granted a parcel of land by the then Governor General of Cape Breton, Colonel de Barras. The grant reads as follows: a parcel of land containing 200 hectares, located in the parish of Mars, in the county of Frederica, in the province of Cape Breton, bounded on the west by the property of William Cartwright, which was over there, it's just right off of the deed, and Francis Ranson on the other end. Hubert Poirier became a fisherman. He built a small log house on the property now owned by Aubrey Kite. It was just a small little building at the time, just to house, I guess, him and his wife. His house was enlarged later and became a barn. As the family grew, Hubert decided to build this is the interesting part, a larger house, and he and his sons were fishing off the Grand Banks by this time and owned 3 vessels. In the fall, they used to go to the Madeleine Islands for provisions for the trip home from the banks. While having tea at a friend's house on the island, Hubert mentioned that he was planning on building a house. The head of the house had been ill and was unable to fish that year. He needed provisions for the winter. He told Hubert that if he would give him a barrel of flour for his winter, he could have all the lumber he needed to build his house.
Wow.
So they agreed to it, and this house, the whole wood lumber for this, not the kitchen, the house, was bought for a barrel of flour. They stayed on to cut the lumber, loaded it on the vessel, and brought it home during the winter. They sawed and hewed the trees into logs, and within the next few years built his house. The house is 28 by 26 14-foot posts. It is built with 8 by 8 logs. There is birch bark over the logs, bordered with 1¼ hemlock, more birch bark and shingle, and I put siding on the floor. The walls are that thick. But when you put a window in, you have to put 2 casings.
To fit it.
Now the boards, that used to be all fenced in, and we got the staircase made because it was too dangerous. But the boards, instead of being, you could lay boards like this, they're on end, and instead of a groove and tongue, there's 2 grooves, and you slip a tongue into it. I had it open, and I put this stuff on it there, this burlap, imitation burlap. I got it all remodeled. But when we cut that picture window in there, we had to cut that much of the old casing that was widen it by that much. And we had to use a chainsaw to get through the walls. And we found a wooden peg, and we found an iron bolt holding the logs together. It was a bit like a fort. Now, there's a lot of history about this house that, that had nothing to do with the building of it. As the family grew smaller, we built a kitchen after, but it doesn't say. A kitchen was built onto the house. Somewhere around 1890, a kitchen was built onto the house. as the family grew smaller, the kitchen was used in the summer only. In order to save heat and save fuel, we'd move in this room for the winter. The kitchen would just become like a storeroom. It was used as a storehouse. The custom was then that when a neighbor died, the men would get together and build their coffins, and the women would line them inside with white and outside in black. Many coffins were made in that kitchen. I've seen two at a time in there. I caused the kids to be used to hold. We even had night school in here. In the time of reciprocity, my father was earning his living in Montauk fishing. And when the government put on this reciprocity program, the American government retaliated by stopping the Canadians from going to earn their living in the States unless they had an education. So they had to go to night school in the winter to learn enough to read and write so they could get their passport to go back, and that's where the school was at, in the kitchen. They were forced to go to the United States to make a living. Many of them were literate and had to go to school in the winter to learn to read and write in order to gain entry to the United States. I've seen men of 45 and 50 learning grade 1. During the years of 1936 to 39, when the war broke out, the cooperative was begun. First, the credit union in the co-op store. You probably noticed on the way up the hill coming down, on your left-hand side, there's a credit union.
I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first. My number was 12, it still is. Organized study movement. And digging a ditch around the road of workmen hit upon a coffin, work preserved by a thick coat of tar. Contained the skull in one arm. On examination by anthropologists, revealed that the skull was that of a mixed breed and approximately 200 years old, and that was in 1946. So you can imagine how old it is now. Here are the generations that lived in this house. Hubert Poirier Sr. had 7, it says here 7 sons. You must be talking of an older Poirier in this name that you got there. Eh? He's
That would
supposed
be
to have
Pierre. You have him listed as Pierre?
Actually, I have
Pierre, yeah. I come across Pierre Poirier before, but I couldn't place him unless he was the father of this Hubert. Eh?
He had, yeah. See, I have 4 sons. Pierre had 4. Now, if you go to Hubert,
Now, Hubert Poirier,
he had Simon, Angela, is that a boy or girl?
those are the names there, I think, to get there.
Do you mind if I use your phone? I have a calling card. I just want to.
Go right ahead, Mike.
I have a
That's
card.
right
It
there. No,
gets
don't
charged
worry
too.
about that.
Okay, Simon, Desiree,
happy to see you
Marceline,
people.
some son, Augustin, Ilya, Joseph, Lee, LeBon. Does that sound right? LeBon, Ellie.
No, Bonnie, yeah.
These are Hubert Poirier and Judith Joss. That's what I.
But now the ones I got here, see, are the generations that, they're not exactly, I haven't got all the names. Hubert Poirier passed on to Desire, to one of his sons, Desire, and his family was the next generation. See, there was Hubert Sr., Hubert Jr., and then Desire one. Next generation to inherit the house. Pardon me, he had 2 sons, Alfred and Arthur. And Alfred had 2 sons, Amédée and Alphonse. Alfred died at a very young age. His sons were only, Amédée was age 12, and Alphonse was age 7.
Yes, I
So,
want to put this on my
Father,
calling card.
they were left orphans. You may say one mother, my grandmother. His wife Virginia was left with 2 children. There was no widow's allowance or children's allowance. His brother Arthur
Call ATG.
helped with the upkeep of children. Amédée's oldest went to sea at the age of 12 on the fishing vessel. Arthur later moved to the schools, and Alphonse, the youngest son, went overseas during the First War and moved to the United States and remained there until his death. He had 3 sons.
Yeah.
And the property then went to Amédée Poirier. It had been divided into 3 lots, Amédée, Alphonse, and Arthur. So, father bought the 2 other lots, because your grandfather's lot would be Or you come up that road, the first section.
Oh.
He had a chain and a half. And,
Yes, I wonder if it was on my calling card.
one had two and one had, each one had a chain and a half. Arthur was being the brother up. And since he kept up, since he looked after the children after his brother died. But then they had two fishing shacks, and when my Uncle Arthur's first wife died, he married again. I guess the one he married was sort of a battle axe, and they couldn't agree. So he agreed to move, and he got land in the schools, and they gave him one of the fishing shacks, and he hauled it to the schools, and the 3 generations back are still living in that same house.
really?
Don't read this part.
Pardon?
Hi, it's,
Well, now here, this part is an example. At the death of Emmett, the 40 the property went to myself. The present owner. Since there are no children, the land is now broken. However, the generation of the party is still intact. Alphonse had 3 sons, 2 of which are still living at the time when this was written, in the United States.
Wait a minute.
Arthur
Linda,
had 2
do you
sons,
want him to call Bobby?
Yeah, tell him I'll call him later.
Philip and
Okay.
Hubert.
To call Bobby and just tell him Linda will call him
Hubert was
later.
killed overseas during the
Please.
First War.
Because when it's
Philip
outside,
had 2 sons, Wilfred and
when it's
Lloyd.
outside, I want
Wilfred
Bobby
died
to
several
call.
years ago.
I'm
He
at
had
the
1
house.
son.
I don't want
Lloyd
to use
has
the
2
phone
sons,
again.
one of which
All
is
right,
married
follow up.
and has a son.
Yeah,
The
real
generation
quick, though,
goes
tell
on.
him quickly.
7, 8 generations back.
Hi,
So we're going to
sweetie,
try
how
and
are
keep,
you?
I'm trying to get them to get interested, like when I'm gone, to keep the generations intact. As long as there's 40, you see, ours are broken because my 2 sisters were girls, and their aunts, and, well, she's still a 40, but a different generation.
Okay, sweetie, how are you?
There's a lot of history to that.
I'm visiting relatives right now, so I'm.
Did you know that Alfred Poirier,
This is when we just
your-
found out.
your
It will
grandfather
be your
Yeah.
had a will.
cousin.
that's in the Arishak courthouse?
Yes, I knew.
Yes, and that's where he lists Sophia Jane in there, and that's why, and I asked Paul
No, no,
if
no.
he knew
It's
about
a
her, and
relative
he
of
didn't know
his.
about her, so I
We went-
figured
we
she
came
had
to
died
where
young.
his family
Well, you
was,
know, if you had,
and
I got a
then
list
found
of
some more relatives.
deeds
I'll
about that
tell you all
time.
about it when we get
I
there.
bought a lot of land when I was
Okay,
foreign.
let me say hi to Jonathan.
Little lots different places where I could get them.
All right, now-
And here, of course, there was 3. There was,
Okay, be good.
there was Alfred, Arthur.
Hi, sweetie, how are you?
Uh,
Good.
later on
And
was
I'm
divided
gonna
to
come
Amity.
tomorrow night, okay?
and
And when, I'll wake you up when you sleep.
Uncle Arthur's son Hubert, and then your grandfather, Uncle Alphonse.
Hi, are they all right?
So then when he went to the States and he was
Oh.
no longer
So should I
interested
say
in
it
the land,
for
my father
Should I
used to
say
go and
that
see him
then?
all the time when he was in the States. So he sold it to him and I got the
Should I
deed to
stay
that.
then?
And then
Well, why do you
when
say
Hubert
that
got
then?
killed overseas in the First
Oh.
World War, he was no more interested. So father bought the whole thing. That's how we have 20 acres.
Can you take that
Otherwise, we'd
upstairs? I'll
only
call
have
you
about
and let you know what that one's
2.5
going on.
chains. That's
Just so
fine.
you know? Okay, take it upstairs with you.
I
Huh?
don't know what, I guess, you know,
Please.
time must have been hard. He
I
was
don't
only
know.
7
If
when
it's too late, I-
his father died.
If it's too late, I won't.
You know,
If it's too late,
not
I
too
won't.
much money.
Yeah.
When he got a chance to get away, he took off.
Okay.
He never
Bye.
got back.
I'll call Bob.
So now I'm going to get the, what you call it here, and I'm going to get the, right, because I had such a memory.